Hello and welcome to my channel. Having installed Ubuntu, which I showed in a previous video, I just wanted to show you quickly what changes I make to set it up how I want it. And of course this will vary depending on what your needs are. I'm going to use this to make another video about something else, so I'll set it up how I want it for that. But in general this could apply to anyone. I've already removed the help button from here. If you want to remove a button, you just press remove, right click on it and then remove. I'll leave that one there, the software store. First thing I'm going to do is to look in the settings, and I think I had to add this from the pressing the start button. Settings was in here. If you want to add something to the panel like that, you just right click on it and then you choose add to favorites. Let's do it with that one, and you see it's been added to favorites. So I've added settings already because I often use that. Press escape, get away from there. So these are the settings, and I've already changed the appearance. I leave the background how it is. Change the appearance to dark because I want to see it in dark mode. And I'm just going to quickly go through these things. Most of them I leave them at their defaults. Multitasking, I don't like hot corners or hot edges. When you slide a window across, it suddenly becomes half screen or full screen. I just don't want it, so I turn it off. Everything else I just leave. Privacy, I already turned off this connectivity checking, which pings Google every now and then. Not Google, sorry. Ubuntu, so that you can see that the internet's connected to the system, warns you when it's not. I've turned that off. I don't need that. And what else do I do? That was privacy, online account sharing, no. Sound. Here you can adjust the volume level. Normally on the keyboard there are buttons for doing this, of course, but here you can adjust it on the screen as well if you want. That will set a bit loud. If you want it even louder, you turn that on, and then you can turn it up louder, which I do. It's nice because you can choose the input and output devices for sound. Normally the defaults are fine. So this is the microphone built into a laptop it's recording from. If I turn that up a bit, you can see that my speech is being recorded. I'll turn that right down because I don't need it. I'm using a different system to record this video, and the output device is currently set to go to the recording computer that's recording this video. Normally it would be connected to here, loudspeakers in your laptop or computer or whatever you're using, but it's very easy to change where the sound comes from and where it goes to. So I'll leave that how it is. Power settings, the defaults are usually fine. Balance mode is great. Sometimes if something's taking too long, I switch to performance mode, and that speeds things up, uses more battery or more power. Depends if you're operating from batteries or not. For me, I don't want the screen dimmed when the computer's inactive. I want it on all the time. I don't want screen blank either. This is just for me, so I'm going to say never blank the screen, so it's annoying. Then you have to put in the password again. Power saver on low battery, I keep that on. Automatic suspend when it's plugged in is off, so it will never suspend. Put the computer into suspend mode, and on battery it does it after some time. You can change. Let's make it 30 just for fun. So that will save the battery. If you've forgotten the computer's running and you've walked away, it won't run the battery down. Show battery percentage, I like that, because up here I want to see the charge in the battery. 100% it is at the moment. What else have we got? Leave that how it is. That's the default value. Mouse and the touchpad are working fine, thank you. I don't need to change them. Keyboard, you can add more languages if you want, of course. Printers, you can add a printer. Quite often it will automatically find printers in the network. Anyway, no, not interested in that or that. All set at the defaults. Oh, this is one thing I like to do. I find this text a little bit small, especially up here. Looking at the date, for me, for old eyes, it's a bit too small. So all I do is I use large text, which makes it bigger. And then it's easier for me to read, a bit less eye strain. Users, it's only one user, that's me, and I'm called user and I'm logged in. Really, there's nothing I want to change. There's not much you need to change, really, from a clean installation. There is one thing, and this settings app is useful, as you saw, and it's easy to set things. And if you've come from Windows, you probably know there's a Windows setting app, and that has a lot more settings, with a lot more levels of menus to go down into, and a lot of things that you might want to turn off, like the telemetry to Microsoft and monitoring stuff. there's a lot of things that I have to switch off in Windows because I don't want them. And the problem with Windows is when you install an update, or when you use Windows Update, which you should to make sure you've got the latest versions because of security problems and vulnerabilities, Microsoft for you changes some of your settings deep down in those menus back to what they want you to have, not what you wanted. And you have to go through and change them all back again. Of course, they don't tell you they're doing this or ask you if you want them to do it, they just do it. And that really annoys me. Also, if you use Windows, the browser called Microsoft Edge, and you've set that up how you like it, they go and change the settings back to how they want it again. I think they do ask you if you want to revert to the proper settings, and you can just say no. But if you're in a hurry and you skip that, they just do it. I don't like that. So talking of browsers, let's look at the browser that comes with Ubuntu, which is this one, Firefox, which is fine. When you start it up, first time you can skip over all of the do I want to import stuff and log in stuff. Skip it all. You get a start page with some junk on it, which I don't want. So I go into the settings, turn these things off. So you go down here to settings. Actually, the tab's already open, but it'll switch to it. This I like to change to open previous windows and tabs, because when I start the computer and start Firefox, I like to have my previous tabs, because often there are things here that I'm using, I'm working on, I want to see them. You can make it the default browser if you want, you don't have to, so that when you click on a link it opens this browser. It's easy to install other browsers from the software manager, which is up here, the package manager. Let me start that anyway so that it's running. Okay, it's already downloaded the list of software. It does update itself sometimes. And in here, if you wanted a different browser, you don't even have to click in that button, by the way, you just type. So for example, I would want Brave on here, so you type Brave and it'll go away and search for Brave browser. There it is. I like it, it's a bit more secure than Firefox. Let's install it. And I'll just leave it running in the background, this install. It asks for a password, of course. Just leave that going while I'm looking at this Firefox. So the first browser I use usually is Firefox because it's already there, and I quickly go through and turn off things I don't want. Actually, I don't want spell checker. I know how to spell, and I get so many orange underlines for words that they don't agree with. I just turn it off. It's quicker. All the other defaults are fine, and then the home. For me, I don't want all that junk on my home page. When I start the browser, I want a blank page, so I make it blank, turn off all this stuff, because I don't want to see any of this stuff. I'm allergic to advertising, or people trying to tell me what they think I want, so it's all turned off. And search is currently set to Google search. Of course, you can change it to other things. Or you can have Bing if you miss Bing, if you came from Windows. DuckDuckGo is a bit more anonymous than Google. It doesn't collect data about you. You could use that. Just leave it at that. But there are plenty of other search engines you can use as well. The other defaults I just leave. Privacy and security, you can leave it at standard. Quite often I run it at strict, but then sometimes you get a warning about a website and it won't let you connect until you tell it you really want to. These are all default settings. Suggest strong passwords. I don't usually want that, because when you go to log in somewhere, Firefox suggests a password, and if you're an inexperienced user, you might click on that saying, oh, let's use it, and of course it will fail because it's not the right password. This is a tool that will, if you don't know what password to choose when you first set up an account somewhere, it will suggest a strong password, which I'm sure is very good, and remember it for you for the future. But I can remember my own passwords, and I don't need them to suggest them to me. Payment methods, I don't want that. Thank you. At least there's no shopping points awards like you find on Microsoft Edge. Block pop-up windows. This I like to turn off. Website advertising preferences. I turn that off because I don't want to have a unique user fingerprint which can be then used for tracking what I'm doing, especially for advertising, so that's off. And I don't want Firefox to do all these things. I'm sorry. I use it for free and I'm not helping them. That's very nasty of me, but there you go. Everything else is fine. You could enable HTTPS only mode if you want to, so that websites that are not encrypted with HTTPS you can't connect to by accident. But then, of course, one or two of them are like that, especially if they're things you're running at home, like printer pages for setting up a printer or a router. You may run into trouble, so I just leave it at the default setting. Again, you can encrypt your DNS requests, and you have various levels of protection. I'll leave it on default for the moment. It's all about security. The nice thing is that nobody changes these for you when you're not looking, so they can spy on you, which I like, unlike some Microsoft operating system. I think that's it. That's enough about the browser. So I've set up a few things on there, and here is the Brave browser that was installing in the background. Let's minimize that because I've gone through the settings. Brave browser is now installed, so I can see if I can use it. So you click down here on the what looked like a start button, and Brave browser's there. I'm going to add it to my toolbar straight away, add to favorites, because I use it a lot. And in fact, I'm going to drag it up to the top because probably I use that one more than Firefox. Click on it and it should start. There we go. There it is. That's the Brave browser, and again you can go into the settings in here and set it up how you want it. I find there's less I want to change on here, much less. I think all I do is, well, no, it's really, the defaults are pretty good. It already continues where you left off, so that's good. So that's Brave browser. What else do I do with Ubuntu when I first use it? I discover things as I'm going along. Suddenly something happens, I think, whoops, let's change that. But just to show you where your files might be stored, let's clear up the screen a bit. Here, everything goes under a folder or a directory called Home on Linux, and I think this is the same on most Linux distros. And then you've got the usual things you'd expect: downloads, documents, music, videos, and so on. I like to see this as a list, so I'll change it to be a list if I can remember how to do it. I think you just click in here then. There it is, now it's a list. I like lists, and it shows you the size also. So I could go into my downloads folder by double clicking and you see that there's nothing there, or you can just click over here to go through the various folders that you have where you store your stuff as you create it or download it. If you want to see hidden files, which I do quite often, then you can turn it on in here. Show hidden files, switch it on, and then when you look in the home directory now, as a new user you probably won't want to do this, but you can see your hidden files in case you want to edit them and do stuff with those. So that's the file manager, that was the browser. There's not much else really that I need to show you as a new user. If there are software updates available, it does automatically check and pop up a little window where you can say yes, update, or no thank you, remind me later. If you want to go looking for updates, you click on this, software updater, and it queries the databases online, the Ubuntu repositories, to see if there are any updates to install. There may be, no they're not, it's already up to date. So, but if there were, you could say, yes please update now or update later. And I've never had the situation where my computer's been updating and preventing me from doing work, which Windows does sometimes, and sometimes it takes a very long time for things I didn't even want. So here you have control over updates. The only other thing you need to know how to do perhaps is to connect it to Wi-Fi. Currently I'm using a cable connection, a Ethernet cable plugged into the Ethernet port. You just click on Wi-Fi and select a network. I'm not going to show you my local networks, but you can click on here, select the one you want, put in the password, and away you go. The other thing you want to do perhaps is at some point to shut down or reboot, which is easy. You just click on here, and let's say we want to power off, shut down. You click on there and it will automatically do it after 1 minute, or you can do it right now by clicking on here and it will shut down, but I'm not going to do that. Same is the options you get for reboot. This little person up here is saying that I've got some accessibility options selected, and you can see here large text I selected. You can put a few others there if you like to play with those. So that's a very quick introduction to how I configure Ubuntu Linux after I've fresh installed it to get it ready so I can actually do some work with it. But as I said, your options and preferences may vary, and obviously you can play around with settings to get things how you like them. So thank you for watching. Hope it's helpful to a new user to Ubuntu, and remember to like and subscribe if you think that's appropriate, and I'll see you in the next video.